Let's go live. Making sure. Good morning, Substack friends. Good morning, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Grateful to be here with you all today. you know, TGIF. I believe we've made it to Friday. Is it Friday? It's Friday, and we have been consistent for 5 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That means that there are 25 days left to sell 3,000 copies of Heal Your Way Forward. 25 more days. And that is my mission for those of you. Welcome to the live. We're going to sell, I said 25,000. Wow. We sell 29.50. 29 more 50, 29.50. And this is our campaign. So let's do it. Really grateful to see you. Hey, Rose. Hey, Book Scattered Coffee. Hey, fam on Instagram. It's great to see you. And YouTube and Facebook. It is a new day. And I usually just start with a question. How are you? How's your nervous system? How's your body feeling today? Before I jump into my thing. Hey, Diane, I'm sorry. How are you? How's your nervous system? How's your body? How's your breath? How are you this morning? Your nervous system, your body, or your breath? If you are on YouTube or Instagram, I can see your comments if you want to leave a comment. But how are you? How's your body and how's your breath? Has anyone asked you that this morning? And maybe you don't know how to answer that question this morning. Maybe you don't know how to capture how's your body and how's your breath. Hey, Abia, so I want to start the morning off asking, how's your body and how's your breath? Just take a moment to think about that. How's your body and how's your breath? My body, modeling my answer, my body feels rested and my breath is okay. I'm trying to slow myself down as I have more of you all come in and hang out for a little bit. Substack friends, how's your body and how's your breath? And if you haven't done a body scan, Ali on Instagram says, I wasn't sure how I felt, but as soon as I tuned in, I felt a tender, emotional. Breath feels deep. Thank you, Ali. Tender and emotional. Breath feels deep. Abia says body and breath are tight and folded up, but we out here, tight and folded. I know that feeling. I know that feeling of not even being sure how your body or breath is, or not even having people tap in and seeing how's your body and breath. And so I have a lot that I can say. I can get winded, but also it's very important that we tap in and when I tune in and I attune to what's happening with everyone. So just moving slow and steady. That's how we do it around here, and doing the best we can. So thank you so much for those of you who did share how your breath and how your body and your breath are doing today. I tend to have slowed down a lot. I used to be a fast talker. I used to be super fast at everything. And on Substack this week, I wrote about urgency. And so I'm really navigating urgency and how urgency, which is a tenet of white supremacy culture, how that keeps me out of my body, and how it is a process addiction. Really working on my addiction framework a little bit deeper. Really working to get the 12 steps. I'm going to call my crew together to try to get the 12 steps grounded in more presence, because next month I am in our collective, actually November, we're going to be launching our 12-step recovery groups for people who are on the liberation journey and navigating any form of recovery. So stay tuned for that. Those meeting dates are going to be on the calendars. I'll host a couple times a week, and we'll get other members of the collective to host a couple. So I think, for AA and ACA, ACA stands for Adult Children of Alcoholics, Codependent, CODA, survivor support groups, where we're really shifting some things. It's very important um, if we're liberated to stay within the realm of liberation. Because what I noticed for me in my journey is that when I went to AA and it's not led from the context of liberation, I'm not present because all I see is the anti-Blackness and some other things. Like the way it just filters through my brain, right? The way my brain filters, I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that. So it's really important to get yourself in spaces and community that remind you that like you have a body and you have breath, and there's more to this journey than just simply taking in information and being told who you are, what you do, and what you believe. And I think that's one of the things that has broken my heart about what I call the social justice industrial complex. We have literally duplicated the system of oppression and we're not even paying attention to it. Those of us who are actually starting to call it out, because how do we say we're fighting for liberation and freedom? And when you look at the definition of those words, and then we bring in similar binary rules within these spaces. And so, one of the rules that I have been speaking up against for years, and so I ask, how are you feeling and what's in your body? Because a lot of people in white bodies were told by whoever, you cannot feel. You've been telling each other you can't feel. And that's why there's so much disconnected from the neck down, because you're still running that play of, well, I'm this kind of person and I was told this. And when we start bringing in rules of oppression and spaces of liberation, nobody can get free and nobody can heal. The other thing is that people, I'm noticing, are also um, not grounded in what reality is. I think we're living in a time where um, oh God, this is another tenet of white supremacy culture, that urgency, that need to act fast. Oh my God, there's so many atrocities. We got to stop them all now. There's so much. The bombardment is intentional. So if you weren't building beloved community before 2025, you have to start with seeking community for yourself. I don't care whose community it is. And notice the difference between the Patreon and the community. Let me be very clear. There is a very big difference between saying I'm going to join a collective community and the difference between I'm going to support someone's Patreon and get educational information. I have a whole breakdown somewhere. When people become members, I believe it's in there in the welcome, and I talk about the difference between a Patreon and a collective community. For the last 8 years, I've been in practice in collective community. I had a Patreon and I got rid of it because I want to be in reparative relationship. That is from what I read from Bell Hooks and Audre Lorde. And it's like you have to be in reparative relationship. It's not just you're the expert of white people. I don't want to be known as the expert of white people. I really don't. It's a funny joke, but I'm not the expert of white people. I'm learning how to break a generational pattern of avoiding white people, of not being direct with white people, and of not telling white people based on my lived experience what feels safe for my body, and getting curious what feels safe for their body. I don't have a Patreon because I don't want to throw more people into just consuming information. That is not my job. My ancestors did not say, go there and you shine and you start your Patreon and you make it all about you. And this is my opinion of Patreon. My opinion of Patreon is that it gives people reasons to throw money at a problem. Because in a collective community, we are pushing each other to show up. Even me, I'm being held accountable to what type of leader. I don't like, there's words that I just struggle with. I'm not even the leader, but whatever. And so like, this is what's dangerous about this time right now. I'm going to empower everyone. Support your favorite creators on Patreon. Absolutely. I'd never tell you not to do that. But if you're just sitting there consuming information and you're not engaging, I want you to really ask yourself what you're doing. Are you just supporting your favorite creator? Because what I've seen happen in the last 8 years, thousands, hundreds and thousands of people will support you and just put money into your pocket, which is like reparations if you want to look at it that way. But the active engagement is the piece. Active. That's why in the addiction to whiteness, I talk about active and being an active co-conspirator and a passive co-conspirator. When I work with my one-on-one clients, especially my one-on-one clients that work in corporations, we talk about how you can be active at work and not passive. And if you work a 9 to 5, let's say you are a senior leader, here's what's been happening that members of our collective have been saying. I run a team. I would like my team to move at the frequency of what our collective does. I would like my team to see what they can't see. And that's what I'm able to do with teams, is kind of go in with the team of Heal Your Way Forward and like literally like help make shifts with direct, compassionate communication. Because the thing is that none of us are direct or compassionate with ourselves. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing with the infighting and the shaming and the blaming and I think the reality is right, like everyone in this world has their own thoughts, beliefs, and feelings. They will not always be in alignment with people you love. And we have to learn, because we're going to need each other moving forward. We have to learn how to be in relationship even when we don't agree. Because if not, it's just going to get significantly worse. And for those of you warriors who are like, well, I can't sit with someone who believes in the what you call it of people of culture. I can't sit across from someone who doesn't believe in the liberation of people of culture. I'm going to ask y'all a question. I am a Black woman who comes from the legacy of enslavement, and yet we haven't received any reparations. Hi, Nikesha. We haven't received anything. And yet y'all still call on us and ask us to help. And most times we do, except for this generation. We like, nah, you all will figure it out. Because when we do help, we get left on the back burner. So the argument, I don't know what the language is, but the argument of, I can't sit with someone who doesn't have my same values, and then you turn around and expect Black people to show up and hold space for you. And then when Black people don't hold your values, you throw them away. I'm very curious on that thinking. This is why we won't get far in liberation, because I've said this, if you look at the first Check Your Privilege book, I don't believe in throwaway culture. I don't believe because somebody is different or we throw them away. I could be my autism. People aren't disposable and people aren't projects. And that's the problem with the social justice industrial complex. We treat people as projects, and we treat people that they're disposable. And thank you, Tamar, the entitlement behind all of that. It is all entitlement. And it is entitlement when you are born and bred in a system of oppression that thrives on drama, it thrives on suffering, and it thrives on power. And so now those of us who are in this system, who have been raised in this system of suffering, you know what I mean? Like it creates more and more of the same energy. Literally, everything is energy. Oh no. Thought I was live. I think I hit a button. Everything is energy. And energy cannot be destroyed. I can't even remember the quote, but it can be transferred. And so I get to the deep question, and I get to the deep thoughts just really around, who are we as a people? Who are we as a culture when we are just simply throwing each other away? And the argument is, well, as a such person, my job is, and I'm going to tell you something that I've been told my whole life. As a person, Maisha, the only thing you need to do is take care of you first, take care of your children, and then the rest will work itself out. That's that whole concept of, I remember when I sold Mary Kay, I've done a lot of things. God first, family second, career third. That actually makes sense. How do I center the God in me? Because that's what I believe in. If you look at the scriptures, it says very clear. If you read some of the Gnostic texts of the Bible, if you look at all that, you would read it. It says very clearly, God is within you. Be ye gods, for I am God. So the God within me, that's how I see it. You can pray to Supreme Creator I do thank the universe supreme, the intelligence that lives in my divinity, all of that. That's my language now. But like that first, when I hear God first, it's like me first, like my soul, my system. I can't show up. It's like I can honestly say, like the last 5 years I've been on these internet streets, it's a big performance because I was putting everybody else first except for me and killing myself in the name of liberation. You cannot kill yourself for a cause. No way. I'm sorry. I don't care how many people are suffering. I will not kill myself for a cause. Not anymore. Those days are over. And that's the problem, is we all want to be saviors, but we don't want to sit in solitude. We all want to be saviors, but we don't want to sit in the silence and the solitude, because the work is individual and collective, not just collective. Because collective work turns into cultism real fast. And we see that the minute that there are people that aren't on the same page, you have seen your social justice leaders do it, because everybody wants to be a hero in the story. And I'm okay in this season of my life being a hero in my own story. And so when I think about the journey of healing your way forward, it literally, if I would to rewrite a couple of things in here, I would literally say that this is about becoming the hero of your story. In fact, when I was building the co-conspirators journey, which I don't own, I did not trademark co-conspirator because that word was a word. I don't even know who coined it. I think it was Dr. Taylor actually who coined it. But when I saw a journey, I think it was a hero's journey. I'm like, oh, wow, that's similar to what white folks do on their journey. All of us, right? We listen, we learn, we take action, we cause harm, we ghost, we're shamed. We got to look at that shame to get back on the journey. We got to look for how we repair relationship again. For those of you who think this message is weird and out of order, take what works and throw away the rest. Take what works and throw out the rest. You have to become the hero of your own co-conspirator's journey. Stop looking for people to tell you who you are. You just need reminders of who you are. You don't need me to tell you who you are. You just need me to remind you who you are. Because what you're looking for people to do is give you external validation. Most of you don't even realize that it's a people-pleasing behavior because you're looking for external validation. So you come to the Maisha T. Hills, you go to this. I'm going to tell you 3 women that are always going to tell you, you know the answer. If you want to go deeper, book a coaching session. You're going to get that 4. You're going to get that from me. You're going to get that from Dr. Yulinda Renee Raman. You're going to get that from Desiree B. Stevens. And you're going to get that from Marquina Reed. And you'd actually also get it from Jamila. 5 Black women that you come to us and you tell us, well, oh my gosh, I'm so lost. I don't know what to do. We're not going to do the work for you, because that's what's been happening in the liberation work, is that everyone has been looking for the hero, when the actual truth is we're all the hero. We don't need just one liberation teacher. We need multiple liberation teachers. We don't need just one expert on anti-Blackness. We need multiple, because there's millions of us on this earth. And so if you don't take away anything from what I'm saying right now, I think the number one message that I actually do have is to remember that you are a human being first. That regardless of, yes, you have work to do because you're a white person on this journey, yada, yada, yada. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I totally understand it. I totally understand it. I get it. But also you have to learn how it's time to get yourself. And a lot of people, oh, I'm in therapy. You know, therapy is a one-on-one experience. This is what I love about Black culture, Black culture and the culture of African diaspora. We know that the community is greater than the one. So even culturally speaking, when there's conflict in collective communities, the whole community, one, has to be made aware of it. And I know this because this is a process that I'm getting ready to have to do. The whole community gets made aware of what's going on. There's some restorative sessions done with like the head person, but the whole community is always involved. But we don't do that here on the West. Everything is so ruggedly individual. That's why I tell people, if you're going to go to therapy, find a group therapy session, because the affirmation that you are not alone will help you heal faster than the one-on-one sessions. I've recently like slowed down therapy because it's like, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? For where I was, it's amazing. And I like the group sessions because someone's story will inform your journey. When you're just one-to-one, for me, if it's not IFS, where I can identify my part, if it's not EMDR, if it's not even brain spotting, when I can catch my thoughts, brain spotting is really good. If it's not any of those things, nothing works for me, because I'm just reliving my trauma, because I'm talking about it and I'm getting strategies on how to survive my trauma. And as a Black woman on stolen, bloody land, even stepping out there without my ancestors is traumatic, right? So the constant question is, how can you be in it and not of it? How can you actually know that you're the hero of your story and stick by that? And stop seeking outside of yourself. A lot of us are seeking outside of ourselves. There's so many things that we can do better together, but we have to break up from rugged individualism. Thank you, Abia. It is not just faster, it's deeper. But you have to be committed to wanting to do the deep work. And I got to tell you something. If you are a person in a white body, you've never had to commit to anything. Your privilege has given you an access pass. Your privilege has given you an all access pass to avoid your emotions, to not deeply relate, to not deeply connect. So that's why it's easy to throw people away. That is a colonial wound. The white body wound of colonialism. There are multiple, but one of them is the ability to take what you need and throw the rest away, figuratively. The wound of white women being afraid of conflict is a colonial wound out of years of abuse from patriarchy. I am a threat to white women because I no longer live in the body of oppression. We have to learn how to free ourselves from that, and we can do that in collective community. And I always just keep reminding you all that I'm not here to be liked. I'm not here to be popular. I'm just here to give the message. All right. That is the message of the morning. If you can, please, again, 3,000 copies in 26 days now. I think I'm going to give an official number by Monday, because Monday I'm going to put Monday or Wednesday next week. I'm putting in the first order of books. So, all right, please, you can do it. Please, please, please. This book link is in all the bios. If you found something amazing for this live, you can buy me a coffee. My coffee link is in the comments. And also, if you're on Substack, you can become a subscriber. So many pathways to support the work, but the most important pathway is to grab you a copy, a signed copy of Heal Your Way Forward. We're doing it. Much love to each and every one of you. I will be live again in a few hours, and of course at 7 p.m. And tonight again, we'll practice self-empathy live. All right. Much love to you all. Peace.